All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's go ahead and start out on our backs this morning. Take your time. As we make our way down onto the back, feel free to stretch the feet out beneath you. And if you need a little support on the lower back, you're always welcome to keep the feet on the floor. Knees can bend and lift up towards the ceiling. And bringing in any bolsters or blankets that you need to this morning. Maybe a bolster underneath the knees, or maybe a little blanket underneath the back of the head. Oftentimes, when I'll take yin from Ashley, I had been seeing people with a full blanket along their mat, and it's so nice and comfy. A little bit harder for traction as we get into our more active practice. But if you ever want to start out with that blanket right underneath the back of the body, feel free to do that as well. Begin to find a space where there's no strain on the muscles or joints of the body. We'll let the palms come facing down here for a moment and just find a few breaths. Breathing into those little areas of tension within the body, creating a little more space. And then as you exhale, sink back into the mat. Relaxing through the jaw, a little space between the teeth, tongue softly resting behind them. Begin to take your eye gaze inward and upward towards the third eye, softening the inner edges of the eyes and allowing the forehead to relax even more. Releasing from the palm, setting down anything from the body that gets in the way of you connecting with your body, yourself, or your practice this morning. Creating the space just for you, even if it's just for the hour, maybe a little bit longer, hopefully carrying this feeling with us as we take our practice off of our mats as we continue to dive a little deeper. After one or two more breaths here, sinking a little bit deeper into that ujjayi breath, that soft engagement on the back of the throat, that half smile or smirk coming out upon the lips. Gently roll the shoulders back. Allow the palms to stretch down, facing up now. Opening up ourselves as we receive gratitude, thinking of those things in our lives that we're grateful for, thinking of people, experiences, places we've been, our community, our health, and just breathing that gratitude into all of ourselves. Taking a moment and allowing that gratitude to give us a little perspective, reaffirming that we have everything that we need. One more breath. Hands softly come back to heart or to the heart. And as we bring the hands to the heart here, let's go ahead and rub the hands together, asking ourselves what it is that we need from our practice this morning. Separate the hands when you're ready. We'll go ahead and bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Keep the arms and the shoulders relaxed. And then as the answers to that question arise, begin to create that intention or that focal point of what you need today. A few more breaths. Drawing that intention into every single one of our cells. So as we move our bodies today, using that energy to help manifest or reaffirm whatever your focal point is. And gently release the hands, bring them back to heart as the palms come together, rubbing them, creating that focal point in between the palms. Now asking ourselves what it is that we want to send out into the world. On an inhale, separate the hands, elbows gently come along the waist. Palms come facing up, thinking of a prayer, a mantra, an energy, whatever it is that you want to share with those around you. Remember that you're powerful. You can send that energy or that intention around the world, around the universe. 2 more breaths. Hands gently come back together in front of the heart. Take a soft bow, entering our practice once again this morning. Hands softly release, come down alongside of the body. And if you haven't already, let's go ahead and start to bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. We'll go ahead and scoot down just a little bit, finding a few little knee sways. Let your hands come out from the shoulders. And take those knees slowly from side to side. Feel free to switch up that foot stance. We'll try and move with our breath's pace. Inhale, knees up to center. Exhale as they fall to one side or the other. After a few sways, we'll go ahead and bring those knees back up to center. Start to lift the feet up just a little bit, and we'll extend our hands to connect with our kneecaps. And actually, if you want, go ahead and draw the knees on up into the chest a little bit. Find a few rocks first, and that'll lengthen the back of the body underneath the glutes. Now hands come to the knees. So we'll start to find some circles here through the hips. Get that synovial fluid into that major hip joint on both sides. Finding a little bit of an engagement there in the core, the abs, if we move slow enough. And make sure that those circles go in the opposite direction. Bring the knees back together. Go ahead and find one big circle with the knees going to the left. Actually, a few big circles with both knees together going to the left. Take the knees back into the center. We'll go ahead and let the knees go around. Opposite direction. Hands can stay on the knees for a little guidance, maybe have a little more core strength or using a little bit more of that core strength as we let the knees just move independently from the arms. Bring those knees back in. Let's go ahead and take the forehead up towards the kneecaps, a little squeeze. And release. Go ahead and bring it on down. So let's take a moment and set up for our first pose of bridge. Our heels come underneath our knees. The toes are straight forward. Let's start to take those hands and reach them up over the top of the head. And find a nice big inhale, filling the lungs. Keep breathing here, reaching up through the fingertips. Make sure that those feet are underneath the knees. And when you're ready, let's take the hands down alongside of the body. Exhale, lift the hips up. Inhale again, drop the hips and hands come high. Bridge pose lifts, moving with your breath. Getting that full exhale as you hold the hips up. Squeeze those glutes. Inhale back down. Push into all 4 corners of the feet. Try not to push into the heels or the toes independently. Making sure to press into the pinky toe and big toe equally as well. And as we lift up, the chin draws in, the back of the neck lengthens. Nice engagement of the glutes here. Let's see if we can find a few more. Maybe 2 or 3. On the last one, we'll go ahead and hold the hips up. As we exhale, let the hands come down alongside of the body. Keep breathing here. Let's go ahead and come into a little bit of a deeper bridge pose. Roll the shoulders back. Hands can come down alongside of the body or clasp underneath the tailbone. Let's start to find a few circles here to the right with the hips. Starting to awaken that Kundalini energy, that Shakti energy at the base of the spine. Working with gravity here, letting that energy slowly come up towards the crown. One more circle in this first direction. And then go ahead and reverse it. Hips go in the opposite direction. Again, moving nice and slow with the inhales and the exhales of your body. One last circle in this opposite direction. Lift it on up and slowly bring it on down. Exhale, one vertebra at a time. Take a moment here. Right knee comes on into the chest. Hands wrap around the shin or the kneecap. Take that left leg low. Toes up towards the sky. Finding that length in the body as you inhale all the way down to the left heel. Exhale, draw that right thigh in just a little bit closer. Soften across the heart, little space from shoulder to shoulder. Beautiful. Let's go ahead, take a moment here, right hand on the right knee. We'll find another circle here through the hip. See if we can extend that right leg up nice and tall. Hands can come to the outside of the leg, maybe behind the knee. Point and flex your toes, finding a little more space behind that right leg. Soften the knee if you need to. Circle that right ankle around a few times in each direction. And let's drop that right foot back to the earth. Draw the left knee on in. Hands wrap around the shin or the kneecap. Extend that right leg low. Push down through the heel, toes up towards the sky. Take a few breaths here. Inhale all the way down the length of the body. Exhale, draw the shoulders back, soften the facial muscles. Working on that descending colon. Working on releasing and setting things down. One more full breath. Gently lift that left leg up, straightening as much as we can through the leg. Hand comes on the sides of the leg, maybe behind the knee or the quad. And point and flex here through the toes on that left foot. Circle through that ankle here just a little bit. Make sure to go in both directions. Beautiful. Soften the knee. Left hand comes to the knee. Circle it around. Maybe a circle in each direction. Both knees come back into the chest. Let's go ahead and hug. Knees go wide. Apasana. Shoulders soften back. Toes come towards center. One more full breath all the way down to the lower back and tailbone, and gently release feet back to the earth. So if you do have your strap, let's go ahead and bring it on in. I'm gonna turn around here so you can see a little bit of a different angle of my body. So we'll go ahead and take the strap and we'll bring it on up. Take the right foot and bring the strap right underneath the toes. Take a moment here as you hold on to both straps and just see if you can draw down very softly to find a deeper flex of the toes and a deeper stretch on the backs of the legs. Don't pull hard. This is not about how far can you go or any competition, not with yourself or anybody else. See if you can find a little resistance here while you point and then flex back down a little bit. So as you pull into the strap, you're pushing up into it and you're resisting as the strap pulls back down. Good. Just about 2 more points and flexes here with that right foot. And then bring it back to a comfortable neutral, even if you have to soften the knee a little bit. Let's take the right hand up, holding on to both straps, and you'll reach up as close to the foot as you can. Some of us may be able to reach for the big toe. And if you want to do that, that's fine. We'll go ahead and start to open up that right leg to the side. So this left foot can stay on the ground, or you can straighten that left leg down beneath you. Ooh, my foot just found the heater. Score. So we'll continue breathing into those inner adductor muscles here on the inside of that right thigh. And maybe you're right up here today. Just find what works for you and we'll soften into it. Maybe take that left hand out from the shoulder, or you can also anchor it down on the top of that left hip. That way we're not rolling completely over to the right side of the mat. We'll take a few breaths here, breathing on the back of that leg from hip to heel. Two more breaths. And oftentimes we'll do this pose standing. This is standing. I know this is a very creative name of the pose, standing hand to foot pose. So you can see how that describes this posture. So we'll go ahead, lift that right foot back up to center. Take a moment here, let the body readjust. We'll start to reach the strap with the left hand. You may not be able to reach up as close to the foot, that's okay. And then from here, take the right hand out to the side, and we'll start to slowly take this leg over to the left. We're not going to be able to take this leg over quite as far as we did on the other side. We're starting to find that outer stretch or stretch on the outer side of the thigh. Maybe take your eye gaze over the right shoulder or the fingertips and just breathe here for about 5 to 6 breaths. If you remember, we're working on that gallbladder meridian for the month of January. So this is a beautiful stretch out for that meridian line. It comes from the outer edge of the eye, through the scalp, down the side body, and all the way down the outer edge of this leg, top of the foot to the fourth toe. So as you breathe, draw that breath through that meridian, that energetic line, and help to clear out that channel. Beautiful. One more full breath here. And eventually we might get to the point where we're able to take this all the way to the side. For my body, that's a little too much. So gauge where you need to go. When you're ready to bring it back up, we'll exhale, bring that foot back up to center. Let's go ahead and release the strap. We'll hug that knee on in and release the foot down to the earth. Take both feet to the mat. We'll take a few windshield wipers here with our hands out to the side and just notice the difference between the right leg and the left leg. With no judgment, with desire to find balance, let's go ahead and do the other side. Knees come back up to center. We'll go ahead and find that strap and then bring the strap here right underneath the toes. So take a moment and you can extend that right leg down nice and straight. And with the strap right underneath the toes, a little resistance pulling down, we'll start to point and flex. And if you need to soften your knee a little bit here, please do. We never want to lock out any joints in the body, knees or elbows. And as you feel that opening behind the knees, hamstrings, and calves, we'll do one more and then come back to a little bit of a neutral. Starting to come into the other leg, we'll reach up with that left hand to both straps, holding as close to the foot as you feel comfortable. And then we'll let that foot come out to the side. If you're able to hold on to the big toe and you want to omit the strap, please feel free to. That right hand is stretched out, maybe looking over the right fingertips here on this side. Feeling that nice stretch on the inside of that left thigh. You'll feel a little compression on the outside of that leg along that energetic channel. So finding a little pressure on that energetic channel, helping to push through any blockages, any congestion, anything that needs to be flushed through the body. We'll take another few breaths here. A soft lengthen into that left heel. One more breath. And slowly, slowly on an exhale, we'll bring that heel back up. Take a moment to switch the hands. We're going to take the right hand over now to that strap. Remember, you might not be able to reach quite as close to the foot. It's a crossbody. So right hand to left leg. And we'll start to slowly bring that leg on over. So if you need to loosen the strap a little bit to find a little more space. And we should feel that stretch coming down the outside of the hip or a little bit behind the hip and kind of down that side leg. We can take that hand out, left hand from the shoulder, taking that eye gaze over the left side of the mat this time. On the exhale, see if you can let that leg fall over, maybe just another millimeter. 5 more breaths, working our way into the outside of that left leg. Imagine your breath traveling from the hip to the heel and all the way down into that fourth toe. Final breath or two. This will be a good one for your hips, Miss Laura. Getting into the outer edge of the hips. So when you're ready, we'll go ahead and bring it back up. Exhale. Release the strap. We'll draw that knee on into the chest. Little squeeze here, lengthen through the body. And then slowly release, left leg down. So we'll go ahead and find the body nice and long here. Hands go high, feet go low, sink down into the heels and find a little wiggle through that mid body. And gently come back, hands alongside of you. Let's go ahead and roll to one side. You choose right or left fetal pose. Remember, when you lie on the left side of the body, that helps with digestion. When you roll over to the right side of the body, we're working with heart healing, heart energy, and circulation. Take another 2 breaths here in fetal pose, giving yourself a little hug, honoring who you are. Telling yourself your favorite thing about you, what you love most about you while you hold the knees and give yourself a hug in fetal pose. Breathe it on in. Gently release. Go ahead and bring that top hand in front of the heart. Slowly push your way on up into a seated easy pose. All right, so we're upright. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more into our active practice. We'll find our sits bones, gently move those glutes out of the way. Take that left shin to the front and hands come to the knees. So we'll start here with just a few slow seated cat-cows, just starting to get into the spine. Taking it easy. And as the body continues to unfold, maybe going a little bit deeper into those cat-cows, but never pushing it. We don't want to injure ourselves before we even get started. So just ease into it. One more. And slowly come back to center. Let's go ahead and find just a little bit of our spiral here this morning, just starting to open up, awakening that energy at the base of the spine, giving a nice little churning motion, starting to get a little massage in those internal organs, helping with digestion this morning. Good. A few more circles in this direction, then we'll go ahead and reverse it. Go in the opposite direction. Beautiful. Come back to center, shoulders on top of the hips. Go ahead and switch out those shins if you'd like. Make sure you find those sits bones. Once again, let's take the spine nice and tall. We'll reach the hands up. Inhale, down through the heart. Exhale. One more inhale up. Take it on over to the left, finding a little twist within the body. We'll find 4 breaths here, looking over that left shoulder. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, belly button draws to spine. Keep the jaw relaxed. Final few breaths. Remember, never using those hands to crank us into the twist, just allowing those hands to hold us, letting the breath take us a little bit deeper over that left shoulder. When you're ready, keep the right hand on the left knee, left hand reaches up, finding a slight diagonal. Reach up and out of the waist. Try not to fall down or collapse into that right shoulder or right waist. We're lifting while anchoring down through that left leg, gently pulling that arm on the right nice and taut. Beautiful. Bring it back to center, cross the wrists, exhale. Inhale up. Hands come down through the heart, exhale. One more time, lift up, inhale. And bring it on over to the right as you exhale. One hand on the knee, one hand behind the hip. Sit up tall through the spine. Belly button draws in as we exhale, looking a little further over the right shoulder. Keep the jaw soft and keep the shoulders low from the neck. A few more breaths here, maybe 3 or so. Finding that balance from that beautiful twist on the other side. Final breath here. Slowly exhale. No, keep the hand on the knee. We'll reach the right hand up and find a little diagonal here. Reach up and out of the waist. Try not to crunch down into that left side body, reaching up through the fingertips and then grounding down through that right leg. Draw that knee, draw that right hip to the earth. Gently pulling that left arm nice and long. Shoulder draws down from the ear. Bring it to center. Exhale, wrists cross. Inhale it up. Ground it back down to center and exhale. Beautiful. Let's make our way into tabletop. Slowly roll over those knees. Swing those shins to the side, however you'd like to make your way onto all fours. We'll spread those fingertips out nice and wide. Knees come under the hips. A little pressure into those shins and plenty of pressure into the fingertips of the hand. Dig down into your mat and get that nice grip for Mara Bandha. Let's go ahead and find our cat-cows here. Just start to move nice and easy, organically. Moving with your own breath's pace. Inhale up and through to a cow. And exhale, round and curl to your cat. Finding a little more energy with the breath. A little more active and audible exhale as you curl. One more set. Beautiful. Come back to neutral. Find a little organic movement here. And let's start to set up for our first down dog. So when you're ready, let's go ahead, bring it to center, tuck your toes, hips lift up and back. Let's go ahead and find a little shake this morning. Shaking off this previous week. Whatever no longer serves you, set it on down to the mat. And stillness. Beautiful job. Let's take the feet nice and wide. Walk the fingertips back, coming into our ragdoll position here. Soften the knees as you need to. Fingertips to the mat or opposite elbows. Find your sway for a few breaths.
Releasing in center and stillness. One full breath here. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Slowly tracing our meridian line from the fourth toe up outside of the leg, hip, front of the her glutes, front of the hip, and side body. Let's take it up to the top of the mat. We'll find our big toes touching. Begin to roll back through the shoulders a little bit here. And then let your hands settle down alongside of your body. Roll the shoulders back, palms are forward. Reach it on up. Inhale, eye gaze to thumbs. Swan dive it down to your toes as you exhale. Draw that earth energy up to heart. Inhale and exhale back down. Step that right leg back. Inhale up to low lunge. Sink down into those hips as you exhale. Try not to let the knee go past the ankle. 3 breaths. I've been purposely bringing this low lunge in, starting to find a little more balance in that pelvic girdle. Finding that opening in the front of the right hip. Let's find our twist. Right hand to knee, left hand to that left hip. Peel that left shoulder back. Relax, shoulders down from the neck and the ears. Beautiful. Maybe sinking down a little bit deeper. When you're ready, inhale, hands up. Exhale, frame that front foot. Let's go ahead and tuck the back toe, lift the knee. Left foot steps back to plank. Holding here. Let's find a few of those spiral hips, 3 in each direction. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Don't hold the breath here. Push it on back and find your down dog. Shake. As we shake the body here, activating that kidney 1 point beneath the big toe. Grounding that energy. Stillness, beautiful. Take the feet wide. Walk those fingertips back once again. With the hands underneath the heart, let's go ahead and find a little penguin waddle here. Alternate the weight into the right and left foot. And then if you want, you can speed it up. Finding a little shimmy, a little shake. Further grounding down that energy. When we shake the body, it helps us to release emotions and trauma, especially in the quad area. 3, 2, and 1. Trace that meridian line up, fourth toe outside of the leg, back to the glutes, front of the hip, all the way up the side body as we walk up to the top of the mat. Once again, roll the shoulders back here. Big toes are close together. And palms come facing forward, Tadasana. When you're ready, inhale, eye gaze up to the thumbs. Swan dive it down, exhale to your toes. Earth energy lifting to the heart, inhale, exhale down. Let's step that left foot back this time. Untuck the back toe. Inhale it on up. And exhale, sinking down a little bit deeper into that low lunge. Lots of options here for our low lunge. If you need to, bring the hands on top of that thigh. Some days it's nice to have 2 blocks, and you can bring them up to that highest level. And as you sink down, this allows that heart and that torso to stay up tall, getting a deeper stretch through the front of that left hip. Final 2 breaths. Take that left hand to right knee, right hand on that right hip, and start to find a little twist here in that low lunge. Breathe. One more breath. Bring it up. Inhale. Hands come down, framing that front right foot. Exhale. Tuck that back toe, lift the knee. Right foot comes back to plank. You're always welcome to modify on the knees. Let's find those 3 circles in each direction. Mula bandha engaged, lower belly is drawing in. Beautiful. From our plank, let's go ahead and drop the knees and let's take it back to a peaceful warrior. Toes stay together, knees go wide. Push it on back. Breathing through the nose, start to slow the breath down. Inhale all the way to the lower back and tailbone area. As you exhale, hips sink into heels, heart melts into floor. One more breath. Slowly start to walk your way back up. Walk the hands towards the knees. Let's go ahead, lift up onto those knees. We'll bring them in front of us and push it on up. Take a moment if you have your blocks. I'm going to bring a few in. I'm bringing them just to the outside of the heels. You don't have to have the blocks if you don't need them or want them or have them. So we have our knees underneath the hips, a little space there in between them. And we'll start to take the hands on the quads. Lift that right hand up, inhale, tap the block or the heel, exhale. Inhale up, exhale to quad. So we're moving with our breath. And as we press the shins into the mat, you can start to feel those quads engage. Glutes are engaged as well, and that core. So these tap backs as we prep for camel pose are a wonderful way to strengthen the front of the body. I think a little more fun than doing crunches, but that's just me. Last two. Beautiful. Bring it on back, forward. There we go. So from here, let's come on into our full camel. I like to take the hands back behind, create one fist, interlace the fingers. If you need a little more support, feel free to bring the hands to the lower back, fists, fingertips down, or fingertips up. Try to let the shoulders stay down from the neck. And once you find that grip, take your eye gaze straight in front of you. Shoulders roll back. Begin to engage the glutes here. Hips stay on top of knees. Walk the eye gaze up, wall and ceiling where they meet. If you feel comfortable, continue walking back. Keep the shoulders down from ears. If you still have your blocks here, you're welcome to come back. Starting to ease our way into the full pose where we can take the hands down onto the heels eventually. Notice the hips stacking above the knees. So we're pushing those hips forward. Lift up and out of the waist. Lift up and out of the neck. Finding an opening here across the heart, opening up that throat as well, helping us to learn how to speak our truth with love, within love. Glutes engage, slowly start to walk the eye gaze up, engage those tummy muscles and lift. Take a moment, we'll bring the hips back down to heels slowly. Coming into our counter pose of rabbit. So we'll take the hands beside us, palms are facing back. As we face forward, tuck your chin in and start to roll yourself up like a little snail or a cinnamon bun. As the forehead comes to the knees, your heels are going to appear behind you. Take all 5 fingers wrapping around the heel. Once you get that grip, use your arms to draw the forehead a little closer to the knees. Don't pull yourself too hard here. Last week, my earbud popped out. So I know you guys don't have earbuds, but it feels like you could have an earbud popping out. That's a little too tight of a squeeze. Taking a few more breaths, that nice curl of the spine. So you're going to find a nice opening in between or behind the shoulder blades as you roll forward. One more breath, working on the thyroid here as well. We'll slowly start to uncoil here. Release the spine, slowly lifting up tall. Release the chin last. Beautiful. Let's come back up to those knees. So when you're ready, we'll lift up. Coming into our second set of camel. So if you want to try a different variation this time, bring those blocks in. If you want to do your prepping with a thigh tap, heel, or block tap, feel free to offer a few of those. And if you're fired up and ready to go, then let's go ahead. Knees underneath those hips. We want to make sure that we have that nice structure and stability. Hands back behind us, however you'd like to grip, hands on the lower back or one fist. So as we start to lift up through the waist, push the hips forward, take the eye gaze to where the wall and ceiling meet, walk it on back. Hips push forward, lifting up and out of the waist, lifting up and out of the shoulders or out of the neck. Beautiful. A few more breaths here. Feel that nice stretch, all lower belly, fronts of the quads, little bit there on the inner thighs. Nice compression on the lower back. When you're ready, glutes squeeze, eye gaze starts to walk forward. Use those tummy muscles, engage almost as if you were in a sit-up. And let's bring the hips back to the heels. So finding one more of our rabbit pose for a counter stretch of that second camel. Hands come by the side, palms face back. Thighs are squeezed together as much as you can. And we'll go ahead and zip it on up, chin to chest. Curl it forward. Hold on to those heels once they appear. And use the arms to draw the forehead deeper in towards the kneecaps. If the kneecaps are a little daunting, bring your block here in front of you. And maybe we're going for the block. A nice deep stretch all the way down that lower lumbar, mid back. And as we curl a little bit deeper here, start to try and find the opening in between or underneath the shoulder blades. So if you're finding a little bit too much stretch on that lower back, tuck the chin in a little more. Two more breaths, creating that circuit within the body, coming back to your own power. The only one that can take your power from you is anybody that you release it to. So you are in charge. Become the master of your own energy. Slowly begin to rise. Uncoil the spine, lifting up, releasing the chin last. Beautiful. Take a moment, breathe. Let's go ahead, bring the hands down one more time onto the mat. Now we'll go ahead and take it into down dog once again, just to get that nice stretch and get that blood flow all the way to the toes. So tuck those toes, lift it up. It's just a shaking kind of morning. Shake it on off. 5, 4, 3, 2. Good shake. Come into stillness. Inhale forward, bring it on into plank. And from here, if you need, modify on the knees, and we'll bring it all the way down to the belly. Elbows hug in, bring it nice and slow. Stack the palms here underneath the chin, elbows come out to the side, and feet go wide to the base of the mat. You can drop the forehead on the palms. Softening through the shoulders. Breathing into the lower back and the hips. Let the belly sink into the earth as you exhale. 2 more breaths here. Eye gaze to center. Start to bring that right cheek down to those stacked palms. Soften the shoulders. Let's take that left knee out to the side, finding our half of frog pose. That right leg comes underneath you. So if it was a little bit wide, just draw that right leg directly down underneath the hip. Take a few breaths and find a little space from hip to that left knee. 90 degrees in that ankle, the knee and the hip, and then adjusting from there to what your body needs more. And if you'd like to stretch that left leg out to the side, we'll be coming into a very similar pose that we started out with. Remember that strap? This time we're facing the body down towards the earth. So we're using that gravitational pull on the back of the body and allowing the front of the body to sink down. So if you'd like, you can take that left hand out. I don't think we need to get up and get the strap. Even if you're still a few inches away from the toes, that's okay. If this is a little too much, you can always keep that knee bent. We'll take 4 more breaths. If you extend that left leg out to the side and you're trying to reach for the toes, try not to shorten your leg by lifting that hip up. It's better to have some space and not grasp or get that bind on the leg versus getting the bind and then we go out of alignment. So as we come here, I'm going to offer one more variation or one more amplification. We can bring the eye gaze back to center, or we can even look over that right shoulder, taking that left cheek or left ear down. And that might be a little too much, but I always like to offer some options here in case that speaks to your practice and is available to your body. When you're ready to come out, feel free to come out. We'll bring the hands back in first. Take that neck back to neutral. And then we'll find an exhale as we draw the legs back down. Take a moment. We'll bend through the knees. Go ahead and find a little bit of a rock. Both heels go right, both heels go left. Roll over those quads a little bit. Get a nice little massage. Take it nice and slow so that you can get every square inch on the fronts of those legs. Beautiful. Come on back to center. We'll stretch the feet back low. Take the feet wide once again. We'll rest the forehead to center. 3 breaths, reset. Inhale to the lower back and glutes, and as you exhale, soften the belly into the floor. And coming into the other side, we'll lift up. Bring that left ear or left cheek down. Start to take that right knee out to the side. So finding our half frog pose on the other side, we'll draw that left leg down directly underneath the hip. Since that foot went wide, we'll draw it in just a little bit and then start to find a little more space on the inside of that right thigh from hip to knee. Taking a few breaths here, allowing the body to adjust. And if you extended that leg out on the other side, you're welcome to extend the right leg here. As you stretch into the sole of that right foot, 90 degrees in the ankle, And then again, just make sure that that right hip isn't hiking up. We'll take the right fingertips or right hand reaching for those toes. Whether you reach them or not, that's okay. It doesn't matter. Eventually, we might get to the point where that leg is nice and open and we're able to get those last few inches and catch onto that big toe. But remember, sometimes these poses and these amplifications can take years to get into. The beautiful thing about this is you have a dedication to your practice. And before you know it, you wake up one day and you're there. And if you'd like to offer that final amplification, you can bring the eye gaze back to center, or maybe you drop the right cheek and look over that left shoulder. Remember, if that's a little too much, please don't do it. Back out. The way we can gauge our poses, you guys know this. If we go too deep into the pose, we're not able to take the fullness of the breath. So make sure you can take those last few inhales and exhales. And slowly, slowly bring the eye gaze back to center. We'll draw that right hand back in. So finding a little pressure or a little stability here underneath the shoulders. We'll find that exhale, draw that right leg beneath us. Take a moment one more time here to bend through the knees and find that little sway. Heels go side to side. Take a moment, stretch the feet beneath you. See if you remember which side you rolled on to at the beginning of class, right or left, and see if you can roll on to the opposite side. If you don't remember, that's okay. Just intuitively go to the side of the body that feels more natural right now. Giving that lower back a little bit of a release, and also giving yourself a little bit more love. Thinking of one more irresistible thing about you. Something that makes you so special, something that makes you quirky. Embrace that. One more full breath. And slowly release from your fetal pose. See if you'd like to take any other poses or postures. Yogi's choice. Maybe a little bit of a floor bow, a locust pose, especially if you're working on those hips. We'll start to strengthen that back and that lower back. That's a really good one. Take those last few minutes of movement, and I'll start finding our reading for today. As always, you're welcome to tune out the reading and go into your own meditation or just follow your own breath. Wherever you are, start to gently find your way back, sinking into that nice grounded Ujjayi breath through the nose. Relaxing that space just beneath the rib cage where the diaphragm connects to. And as you inhale, feeling a little bit of a deeper expansion. A deeper inhale, a little more fullness of breath. And as you exhale, slowly push the air back out. Belly gently draws in, lower belly sinks in at the end of that breath, stimulating the vagus nerve.
further calming the nervous system, further allowing the body to relax. Giving your mind, your body, and your heart a little more space to receive the messages from your practice today. Integrating all of the growth, all of the energy, all of the healing. Allow one hand to rest on the belly, one hand to rest on the heart. Keep the arms relaxed. And as we come into our reading today, the reading is called Getting at What Matters. The beginning quotation reads, "If you want to be truly understood, you need to say everything 3 times in 3 different ways, one for each ear and once for the heart." Paula Underwood Spencer. For years, I felt so unheard that when asked a question after speaking my heart, I take it as rejection or criticism. Often, though, it was just someone trying to understand. What was called for was for me to circle the unsayable and try again. I've learned that true dialogue requires both speaker and listener to try several times to get at what matters. For sometimes the truth is uttered just as I have to cough, or your heart opens and closes while I'm struggling to land. So much depends on timing, and so I've learned not to repeat myself, but to play what matters like a timeless melody again and again, if the one before me is honest and sincere. So take a moment, just breathe in those words and what they mean to you, how they speak to you. And as an activity, maybe later today, taking this as a talking meditation, sitting with a loved one, taking turns, circling the unsayable. First, tell your loved one how you feel about them. Then take some time in silence and then say how you feel again. After some more time in silence, take each other's hands and say how you feel one last time. Once for each ear and once for the heart. I love that. So take a moment here with that hand on the belly and gently bring it back on the heart to stack on top of the other palm. Take a few more breaths and really absorb what you need to from practice today. Thank you so much for coming on your mat, joining together in community. I don't know if I can fully express this to you, but I'm so very grateful for this community continuing to stay together. I know this is my lifeline every morning that I step on the mat, so I'm very grateful for that accountability for continuing to provide this teaching, but remembering that I too am always the student along with you. So thank you for coming together this Saturday morning. I'm so very grateful for each one of you. Here's to a beautiful day ahead from my heart to yours. I know how much hard work that you put into your practice, whether it be on the mat or off. So go and start to enjoy your hard work today. Fully jump into life. Happy Saturday, friends and yogis and yogi friends. Namaste. Dexter didn't make an appearance today, but I'm sure he would want me to tell you hello. So, namaste from Dexter as well. Have a great Saturday, you guys. Thanks, Laura. Love you guys.